Joe King comes out on stage and says, "Hello, yes, my name's Joe King. I'm not joking, though I prefer to be called Juris Dr. King. Dogs love me. Not just ugly women and promiscuous men, but canines as well. All three groups love to come up to me and sniff at my crotch." No, that's not true. Women literally never come up to me and sniff at my crotch. And quite frankly, that disappoints me. I think we have a screwed up mating ritual for men and women. As a man, I think it'd be easier if women made it a habit to approach men and sniff at their crotch. Now, if the man can then tell the woman enjoys the smell, he knows he's in. Conversely, if she doesn't like the smell, then he knows he doesn't have a chance. Instead, we have this thing where women act demure and men have to do all the work. The problem with that is the slut-shaming of men. Now, I appreciate sluts, I really do. They help keep the population going. But the problem is that we are all sexist with what we deem as slutty and what we shame. If a woman is slutty and does something equivalent to sniffing a man's crotch, society is now saying we shouldn't shame that woman. However, if a man was to go up to a woman and start sniffing around her bush, he gets slapped with the hashtag, #MeToo. Why are we only removing slut-shaming for women? When men act slutty, they get arrested, sued, lose their jobs, their livelihood. When a woman acts slutty, she gets 1 million Instagram followers. If we truly want to remove slut-shaming, then women should allow men to be like New York City construction workers. "Hey, sugar tits, nice cans. I'd love to put my bulldozer in your dump truck." Okay, but instead of that, a mere whistle is considered sexual harassment, which emasculates men, which women don't like. It basically works like this. Women secretly want men to be aggressive, almost too aggressive, so long as he's good looking. But men don't give a shit if they themselves are good looking. And that's how male and female sexual dimorphism occurred within humans. Women are very concerned with their looks, their weight, being pretty, because throughout human history, men only wanted to plant their seed in attractive women. So women had to learn to be attractive for men. Not so with men. Men feel very little evolutionary pressure to look attractive for women, at least compared to the pressure women have to look attractive to men. Why is that? Rape. Throughout history, men would just rape women. While the women were looking for Brad Pitt or George Clooney to come and bone them, the men didn't really care what the women thought of them, and if they wanted to fuck, they just made it happen. But the thing is, we're evolved animals, right? And animals, as far as I know, don't have a moral compass or anything like that. Male animals are basically programmed to have sex with females they find attractive. And that's how all life on this earth eventually evolved. Male animals instinctually desiring to mate with females. And that made me think, do animals ever rape? And I guess they'd have to, because the female animals, they only want the best of breed. They're programmed to want to get knocked up by the males that have the best genes. But there's males in the animal kingdom who don't have the best genes, but they're still looking to get off. So I have to assume that there are instances in the animal kingdom where these males with less than ideal genes find an attractive female and go to town, while the female is not approving of it because the genes aren't quite suitable enough for her. So I did some research, and there's actually a Wikipedia page titled Sexual Coercion Among Animals, which explains in great detail the consequences of animal rape. And quite frankly, I don't know why we have a double standard with animals. Why aren't female animals included in the Me Too movement? Are we really all just going to stand around and do nothing while these female animals are constantly getting raped? How is Animal Planet even still on the air? How do the sponsors live with themselves? It's abhorrent, and it doesn't fit with our modern society. I just wanted to spread some awareness about animal rape. But what's arguably even worse among these animals than all the raping they do is that they seem really into bestiality. I mean, isn't that illegal? How are these animals not in prison? But now modern society has taken rape away from men, and quite frankly, I'm worried that men who don't care about their looks and just want to rape women are going to slowly fall out of future populations. It's very sad. The main problem with it is nice guys. Some women may like certain nice guys and find them attractive, but without going up to them and snipping at their crotch, the nice guy isn't necessarily going to know, and he's never going to make a move because he's afraid of being slut-shamed. So men out there, next time you hear or read anything about the removal of slut-shaming, make sure to grab the ass of a woman and say, "So you're a slut, huh? Well, hashtag me too."
Joe King walks off the stage and onto another stage, sits at a seat behind a desk and says,
"Please welcome to the program, the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski."
Ted Kaczynski emerges from behind a curtain and waves at the audience. Tepid applause. Kaczynski walks towards King's desk and takes a seat. King:
"Mr. Kaczynski, welcome to the program."
Kaczynski: "Thank you for having me."
King: "Okay, Ted, so you were born in Chicago to Wanda and Theodore Kaczynski, with your father being a sausage maker?"
Kaczynski: "That's right."
King: "Now that's sausage as in the food, right? And not a euphemism for cock?"
Kaczynski: "Of course."
King: "Very good. Now you eventually moved to the southwest suburb of Evergreen Park."
Kaczynski: "Correct."
King: "You know, I happen to be an alter ego myself, but my original ego is from Beverly, right by EP.
Kaczynski: "How about that?"
King: "Right, small world. Anyway, your IQ was so impressive at 167 that Evergreen Park Junior High School had you skip 6th grade."
Kaczynski: "Yeah, I had previously socialized with my peers and was even a leader, but after skipping out of them, I felt I didn't fit in with the older children who bullied me."
King: "Okay, and then you went to Evergreen Park High School, where you played trombone in the marching band and were a member of the mathematics, biology, coin, and German clubs."
Kaczynski: "That's right."
King: "You became associated with a group of like-minded boys interested in science and mathematics, known as the Briefcase Boys, for your habit of carrying around briefcases."
Kaczynski: "Correct."
King: "No bombs in those briefcases, though."
Kaczynski: "No, that was later on."
King: "Okay, very good. Now, you were so smart that you graduated high school at 15 and accepted a scholarship to Harvard."
Kaczynski: "That's right."
King: "Mighty impressive. You know, I'm used to having riff-raff entertainment types on this show, so it's a pleasure to have on such an intellectual."
Kaczynski: "Thank you."
King: "Anywho, you graduated Harvard with a mathematics degree and a 3.12 GPA. Why not a 4.0, Brainiac?"
Kaczynski: "I had to take other courses not tied to mathematics, which brought my GPA down."
King: "So you were more of a unimath than a polymath, huh?"
Kaczynski: "Where did you go to college?"
King: "Anyway, while at Harvard in your second year, and still of high school age, you participated in a psychological study, which was once called purposely brutalizing, where you would write an essay on a given subject, and then an anonymous person would subject you to vehement, sweeping, and personally abusive attacks, using the content of the essays as ammunition."
Kaczynski: "That's right."
King: "And this lasted 3 years, with someone verbally abusing and humiliating you each week."
Kaczynski: "Correct."
King: "Do you think that that experiment helped lead you to become the man you became?"
Kaczynski: "I'm quite confident that those experiments had no significant effect on the course of my life."
King: "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Kaczynski: "I'm not."
King: "All right, well, anyway, after Harvard, you enrolled at the University of Michigan, where you got master's and doctorate degrees in mathematics."
Kaczynski: "Correct. I have unpleasant memories from my time there, as they had low standards for grading."
King: "Right, and no one was there to belittle you every week."
Kaczynski: "Right."
King: "Anyway, here's an interesting tidbit from your Wikipedia page. It says for several weeks while you were at Michigan, you experienced intense sexual fantasies of being female and decided to undergo gender transition. You arranged to meet with a psychiatrist, but changed your mind in the waiting room and did not disclose the reason for making the appointment. Afterwards, enraged, you considered killing the psychiatrist and other people whom you hated.
Kaczynski. Yeah, I felt disgusted about what my uncontrolled sexual cravings had almost led me to do. And I felt humiliated. And I violently hated the psychiatrist. Just then and there came a major turning point in my life. Like a phoenix, I burst from the ashes of my despair to a glorious new hope.
Okay, that was in the mid-1960s. How do you feel about modern times where transitioning has become much more popular and accepted?
Kaczynski. I'd rather not comment on it.
Why is that?
Kaczynski. I'd rather not say.
Very well. Anyway, your 1967 dissertation, Boundary Functions, won a prize for Michigan's best dissertation of the year. And it was said that maybe only 10 or 12 people in the country appreciated it or understood it.
Kaczynski. Yeah, I was proud of that.
Very good. You then became an assistant professor at UC Berkeley and seemed on track for tenure, but after 2 years you abruptly resigned.
Kaczynski. That's right, it wasn't for me.
Fair enough. You then moved back in with your folks in Illinois before eventually moving to Montana, where you lived a simple life without electricity or running water, working odd jobs and receiving financial support from your family.
Kaczynski. Correct.
Okay, why did you decide to do that?
Kaczynski. I just wanted to become self-sufficient and live autonomously.
Were you getting laid at all?
Kaczynski. I told you beforehand I didn't want to get into that.
Very well. Now, in 1975, you started to get involved with some arson and booby trapping around your cabin, and were an avid reader, including the book The Technological Society by Jacques Ellul.
Kaczynski. When I read that book for the first time, I was delighted, because I thought, here is someone who is finally saying what I have already been thinking.
And what was that?
Kaczynski. That modern society was dominated by technique, or a series of means that are established to achieve an end.
Okay, very good. Did your obsession with technique help you in your future bombings?
Kaczynski. It certainly did.
Okay, very good, I guess. Anyway, in an interview after your eventual arrest, you recalled being shocked on a hike to one of your favorite wild spots?
Kaczynski. Yeah, it's kind of rolling country, not flat, and when you get to the edge of it, you find these ravines that cut very steeply and a cliff-like drop-offs, and there was even a waterfall there. It was about a 2-day hike from my cabin. That was the best spot until the summer of 1983. That summer, there were too many people around my cabin, so I decided I needed some peace. I went back to the plateau, and when I got there, I found they had put a road right through the middle of it. You just can't imagine how upset I was. It was from that point on I decided that, rather than trying to acquire further wilderness skills, I would work on getting back at the system. Revenge.
Revenge for making a road.
Kaczynski. That's right.
Okay, anyway. Between 1978 and 1995, you mailed or hand-delivered 16 increasingly sophisticated bombs that cumulatively killed 3 people and injured 23 others.
Kaczynski. That's right.
Any regrets?
Kaczynski. No.
Okay, and you briefly went back to Chicago and worked in a factory, but were fired by your own brother for writing insulting limericks about a female supervisor you courted briefly.
Kaczynski. I don't want to talk about relationships.
You'd rather we stick to the bombings.
Kaczynski. That's right.
Well, here, I don't want to get into the details of the bombings.
Kaczynski. You told me that would be the primary focus.
Oops. How about instead your manifesto, a 35,000-word essay titled Industrial Society and Its Future?
Kaczynski. Okay.
And in it, you argue that the Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
Kaczynski. Right. Technology has had a destabilizing effect on society, has made life unfulfilling, and has caused widespread psychological suffering. Most people spend their time engaged in useless pursuits because of technological advances, wherein people strive towards artificial goals, including scientific work, consumption of entertainment, political activism, and following sport teams. Erosion of human freedom is a natural product of an industrial society because the system has to regulate human behavior closely in order to function. And that reform of the system is impossible, as drastic changes to it would not be implemented because of their disruption of the system. Revolution would be possible only when industrial society is sufficiently unstable.
Okay, and that's all fine and good, but how does hurting and killing innocent people with bombs help your cause?
Kaczynski, to draw attention to it.
Okay, well, sure, I mean, I'd like more listeners, but I'm not going to start bombing people in order to draw attention.
Kaczynski, well, maybe you should.
Okay, I do enough bombing when I tell jokes in the monologue. Okay, but Ted, we're running out of time, but thanks for being on the program.
Kaczynski, thank you for having me.
Okay, Ted Kaczynski, everybody.
Tepid applause.
Okay, that's all the time we have for this show, but tune into the next one where we interview another deceased guest. Until then, I'm Joe King, and I'm not joking.